All right, we are live. GM, everyone, thank you for joining. We're going to do a quick intro just to allow some more people to join the stream. Today, we have a pretty exciting topic. And we're also making, we're committing to our weekly stream. We want to kind of share different things that are happening, but also new partnerships and launches that we have. In this episode, we are walking through how billion-dollar artists outperform traditional assets. And we're also going to give you the scoop on the next artist that is dropping on the protocol next week. I am here with Boris. Hi, Boris. I'm sure everybody is very familiar with you.
Hi, Luisa. Hi, guys. Good to be here.
All right. And we are just to give you like a big picture view of what's coming up. So on this conversation, it's in anticipation of our David Hockney paper pool launch next week with BNB Chain and with a lot of partners on the BNB Chain ecosystem. By the end of the stream, you'll get a very good sense on why top collectors have been collecting David Hockney for years now, and why it's a really good chance for you to join them and hold some ownership in his market. So with that, I'm going to share a little bit of information about David Hockney. Who is he? Why is he so important? Why are we bringing it to LiveArt? So David Hockney is considered the Picasso of our time. So he has a $2 billion market. It is an absolute legend in redefining contemporary art. He is collected by a lot of very influential people, and you can see here he's doing a portrait for Harry Styles, which I'm sure a lot of you probably are familiar with. So he's also one of the top 5 living artists, and he was a key participant of the pop art movement. Now, the pop art movement is one of the best performing art asset kind of categories over time. He is featured in the world's top museums across the world, from London, New York, Paris, China, Australia. The National Gallery also has some of his pieces. He's a pioneer of pop art and digital creation. So you can see here he's holding an iPad, and he's been doing this kind of digital drawings for a really long period of time. He was also knighted by the British Crown and featured in the top 100 most influential people in the world by Time magazine. So he is globally recognized as a strong symbol of culture, but he's also recognized in the art market as one of the best performing artists in one of the best performing categories. Now, here we can see a huge moment for him in 2018 when his piece, Portrait of an Artist, pulled with two figures that you can see here on the right, hitting $90 million at Christie's. So that is one single piece selling for $90 million, hitting his all-time high for one of his pieces. And you can see the theme here is a pool. And that pool is going to be the kind of same, the asset that we will be having is going to have that same trait, which is the most valuable trait in David Hockney's pieces. So that's a quick overview. And with that, I'd love to turn it on to you, Boris, because we see artists like David Hockney hitting these huge numbers and performing so well. And I'm sure that is pretty competitive, if not also challenging other assets that are more on the traditional side, like gold, real estate, and even Bitcoin, perhaps.
Absolutely. Would love to say a couple of words about it. Let me start by kind of, where I left off last time, a week ago, when we had this conversation more broadly about art as an asset class. So, you know the story, right? The reason that we exist is that there is this $2 trillion RWA, real world assets, that are moving on chain gradually, slowly, but surely. So it started with ETFs. We all know it's a hot story. Then securitization of credit, which is loans, bonds, equities, and now it's our turn. Our turn is alternative assets. Alternative assets includes art and the real estate, right? So that's where we are. Super exciting. So 0.1 of 2 trillion, or basically 10% of 2 trillion is about 200 billion. It's a pretty huge market. And here we are, a part of it. Now, within this class, art is actually the best performing one. It's, in the traditional assets, it is already the best performing one. Now, in the real world assets, in crypto, I expect that it will be one of the best performing one as well, as sort of the dust settles around speculative valuations of altcoins and so on. So let me, as Luisa kind of prompted me, let me try to prove it to you. So what the actual performance has been of this particular artist. So you probably know that if you go to LiveArt.io/analytics, you can slice and dice the art market just like you would, the crypto market or the equities market or any other financial market. You can look at artists, you can look at their market caps, and you can see that one of the top performing artists is David Hockney. This is the one that we're talking about today. So $2 billion in market cap, quite liquid, 404 artworks that have been sold. And of course, now that we've tokenized it, it's going to be thousands or tens of thousands of transactions, every week or month. So let's dig into this particular artist. Let's dig into this artist specifically. And that's, you can do that for any artist on LiveArt. We're the recognized provider of art market data for this asset class, for the art asset class in the world. So we're really number one in that right now, and we're bringing this data on chain, as you know. So as you look at this artist all time, so the all-time performance is quite impressive, right? You can see that it's been many X, and just in the last 10 years, it's approximately 2.5X, so that's pretty good. If you look at the annual returns, they have been quite impressive as well, and very consistent. I think that's what's important, right? Around 10% every single year. And if you look at the holding periods, you can look at, how long you have to hold a particular painting in order to a particular artwork in order to make, the most amount of money possible. So this kind of gives you across all of the various artworks that he has sold, how long you would have to hold it in order to generate a return. Now, what's really interesting, I think, especially for us, is that on a risk-adjusted basis, this particular artist is, better than Bitcoin for the last 7 years. Certainly better performing than S&P 500, gold, and real estate, but it's actually better than Bitcoin. In the last year, he's been particularly well performing, right? Compared, Bitcoin has been performing that badly either, but on the risk-adjusted basis, this artist has been on a tear. So here's an example of this asset class performing better than crypto. And then now that we're putting it into crypto, within crypto, the expectation is that it's going to be performing very well now as a crypto asset. So looking at particular artwork, and again, on LiveArt, you can zoom into any artwork. So this artwork, as Luisa mentioned, has the same trait, which is very common in this artist's work, right? It's the trait is pools. He likes pools. And this artwork was bought for 90 million or sold for 90 million in 2018. It's probably worth some like 150 million now, based on the LiveArt estimate, and you can see all of the details about it. So what we are tokenizing is another artwork that has the same trait, has the same theme, and sort of follows at a lower price point, follows more or less the same price trajectory. So this is, generally speaking, what I think is exciting about this artist, and just illustrative of the fact that over the past decades, artworks by leading cultural figures like David Hockney haven't just held their value; they've outperformed traditional markets, but now they are also outperforming digital assets on a risk-adjusted basis, even outperforming Bitcoin. So So I think that's super interesting. The question you might ask is, why is that happening? There are many reasons, right? So there is an intrinsic scarcity that these artworks have. Each artwork is unique. Supply is fixed. Usually it's fixed at one, right? Because each artwork is unique. There is this effect called cultural compounding, which is that historical significance and global recognition increase demand over time. So there are many reasons for it, but the result is that you essentially investing into something that historically has performed extremely well, both in the traditional market and now that we're bringing it on chain as a crypto asset as well. So that would be another way of looking at it, right? One way of looking at it as an art asset, right? So, but look at it aesthetically and from all the various other reasons, ways in which in how you would normally look at art. You could also look at it financially, and in this particular case, the financial component is extremely strong, based on its historical performance against pretty much any asset class, even Bitcoin.
Wow, amazing. Thank you, Boris. That was pretty incredible. Thanks for the breakdown. And remember, you guys can also look at his artist page on our analytics product, and go wild, go over all of the different data points that we offer. And more importantly, you can also now own it. And LiveArt, the beauty of this protocol and why we're here is we're really tokenizing this amazing asset class, which is art, and making it more liquid, efficient, fast, reliable, and accessible, right? You don't need an art market expert to buy a piece of $1 billion artist market. And this is the artwork that we will be offering next week. It's Paper Pool by David Hockney with one of his most well-performing trades. The launch will be next Wednesday, and it will be happening on BNB chain. Each fraction costs 10 cents, and we have a supply of around 600K fractions. So that puts the artwork at around 60K valuation, which is a pretty rare price point to be able to enter with such a small price per fraction, to be honest. Retail currently sits between 70 to 90. So you're at a very advantageous position to start owning these fees. Now, some of the perks, we all obviously have perks for our community that participated in Launchpad sales for art or purchase fractions prior. You can unlock a 15% fraction boost if you acquire within the first 72 hours. Now, after that, we will have reward bands as well, but as you can see here, they're starting at $500 for a 5% bonus. So you really do get a pretty nice, hefty perk for being part of our community from the beginning. We also will have 100 scoring points per fraction purchased. So this will be the highest that the protocol will issue in terms of activities. This will be the top one that you get, and you get it per fraction. The top 3 holders will also receive an exclusive allocation for an upcoming artist vault, which is something we're going to start speaking about in upcoming streams. Now, this asset is going to be moving incredibly fast, so please join when we launch on Wednesday. We'll be launching at 8 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. UTC sharp, and we hope to see you there. Now, while we're bringing back our community MVP badges, we're going to start rewarding them next week. We have a question of the week, which actually we have when Kusama is going to be launching soon. We are basically working with different trade partners to enable special perks once the asset comes into trading. So we will kind of be launching it in parallel as we bring asset offerings into the protocol. And then in terms of buyback, so we'll have an update on this from the protocol side of things once it's implemented. But keep the questions coming, share more. We have our link in our Discord to the forum where you can submit any questions that you have. And then, yeah, that's all I have. Boris, anything else on your side?
No, look, I'm really excited about this launch. I'm also excited about launching it on BNB chain specifically. As you know, we've worked a lot in the past with BNB chain, and we are really excited to come back to it. You guys know that here it's on screen now that we are very much part of the BNB chain ecosystem here under art. This is basically our corner, and we look forward to growing TVL and BNB chain. I know they're looking forward to it as well. So we'll be collaborating with the BNB chain team very closely on this launch, and uh, I think it's going to be a great collaboration. Last time we did it with them, it was I think 500,000 participants in one of the free mints that we did on the BNB chain. We expect that this collaboration is going to be equally successful, though this time in a new format for a DeFi product, for a new product that we're launching on BNB chain for the first time.
Amazing. And with that, it's Friday. I hope everyone had a great week and that you have an even better weekend. And we'll see you next week. We have tons of updates, and it's going to be a pretty exciting week for the LiveArt community here. Thanks.